How y'all doing?
Good.
Real.
Good, really good. Excited. Y'all can
Yellow
tell.
Nebraska hat.
Yellow Nebraska hat. I'm starting to trend.
Questions for Coach?
Coach, just how important is the depth that you guys have coming into this year and what this room can achieve versus maybe where you were last year?
Super excited about the depth. I think that's what's going to make it so much more fun in the season is because, I think our depth chart could change week to week based on how you practice and how you play in the game. And guys are going to be competing for catches at a really, really high level.
Hey, what have you seen out of Janier and Bonner so far? He's moved around a little bit, but he seems to be a big part of the offense.
Yes, you could kind of tell my face lit up a little bit talking about him. He plays football the way we like to play it. He's super physical on the perimeter, strikes and dominates contact at a super high level. He's got really, really big hands, so he can catch the ball over the middle. Fearless type of guy, so he wants to stick his nose in there, and he's an unbelievable teammate. He'll do whatever it takes to win.
I know you're excited about getting Malachi back and just his physical presence on the perimeter. What have you seen out of him and just, your blocking, the blocking piece of it for you guys?
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's such a big physical presence. I think he's came in today at over 200 pounds, Still want him to trend in the right direction of gaining weight and getting back to some heavier playing weight. But, he's doing a really good job. And you see his kind of physicality transitioning into his route running, which I think is super impressive. You're talking about a big guy. You can win at the top of the route being physical. So that's been really, really exciting with him.
Hey, Garrett, how do you feel about having Carter Nelson in your room?
Oh, he's awesome. He coming from 8-man football, small town. I think I've been most impressed with just how he fits into the room. His personality, his competitiveness. In the recruiting process, we got to watch him play a few times. Got to watch him play basketball, and I didn't really realize how explosive of an athlete he really is, right? Obviously, you see him pole vaulting 19 feet and all that crazy stuff, but man, he's an explosive athlete. He's dominant on the perimeter, a lot like Janirin when it comes to blocking, but he's a competitor. He wants to compete.
What was your challenge or your challenges to Ja'Cory this camp after a really successful spring getting here?
I think his biggest challenge is make the routine plays routinely. Because you'll see him, he flashes, he pops. He's special with the football in his hands. But also, I just want to see him run a snap route, get his depth, throw the guy by at the top of the route, and go win on third down. I want to see him. When we're running an occupy route, we don't have a ton of those, but I want to see him get his depth, get the guy open, kind of one of those PTF type routes. So I think that's his big thing, and he's trending in the right direction.
Hey, when you guys moved Carter Nelson to receiver, whose idea was that, and has it been much of a transition for you at all to bring him in there?
Not much of a transition. That was Coach Rule and Coach Sat. I think it was just, what's the best way to get him on the field the fastest, and learning our offense and, playing the position he's playing. He can almost get cross-trained a little bit, playing both in the slot, outside, and, in line at tight end. So he, year one, it's going to be a lot of jack of all trade type plays for him.
I'm sure, when you guys brought in Banks and Nayor, everybody else in the room had to know you were bringing them in for a reason, right? They're seniors. Mm-hmm. How have you seen some of those players adjust to the fact that these two guys are good, they're probably going to play a lot, and as a result, some guys have to step their game up?
I think it's been awesome. Those guys haven't shied away. You talk about Jalen Lloyd, who in the last 6 games have 3 TDs of over 50-plus touchdowns. And then, Malachi has the big catch versus Northwestern that helps us win that ball game. But both of those guys, all they've done is just rise to the occasion and competed with the best of them. I think that's the whole room is just there's a standard that's being raised every single day. And Isaiah and Jamal are kind of leading that charge, both from a physical standpoint but also a mental standpoint.
You liked how Keelan Smith's kind of fit in.
Oh, he's done an unbelievable job, in the weight room with Corey, in nutrition with Miss Kristen. He's about 210 pounds right now, so he's a big physical player. He's smooth, savvy football player. He's got unbelievable ball skills, catches it in front of his eyes. He's just another one of those guys, kind of like Ja'Cory, of that freshman football, 18 years old playing in front of 93,000. It's a lot on a guy, but We just want you to go in there, do your job, make the routine plays routinely.
Is this a totally different camp experience for you this year? I mean, last year with the youth and inexperience you had in your room, and now just the experience you do have.
A little bit. We're still in Selleck, so that's the constant. The boys are having fun with that. I saw them play cards the other day. That was kind of cool, seeing that camaraderie. It's a totally different room, both from a confidence standpoint, and I think that came a lot from some experience that got brought into the room, experience from last year, and then also just what I can't say it enough, Coach Campbell and Miss Kristen and what they've done, just you look at them, their bodies are changing. Jalen Lloyd's at 179 right now. Last year he played probably 10 pounds lighter than that. So that's huge confidence when you look in the mirror and you see a bigger man.
It's been almost a year since IGC got hurt. Just how have you seen him bounce back after such a long time away from football?
Probably one of the proudest moments as a coach. That's a lonely deal. You talk about getting hurt August 31st, first game of the year, and you got to go a whole year waking up at 6 a.m. Doing rehab. You never know if you're going to get back. You're already talking about a guy who's been through some previous trials in his career, and then now he's weighing in at 198 pounds. He can bench press 225 22 times. He's a 500-pound squatter. So he's put in the work. You can see it. He made some plays 2 nights ago that were really, really freaking impressive. And I'm really proud of him.
Hey, Garrett, with Carter, how do you structure things? You mentioned the transition from 8-man ball. How do you structure it so that, he's in a position to be able to do what you want him to do this year and also not miss out on like the education that he needs to be able to ultimately be the player you want in the end?
Right. Yes, sir. He's why you recruit a guy like that is because of how athletic and how big he is. So I don't want to outcoach that out of him, if that makes sense at all. So really right now we're focused on alignment assignment and then let your talent take over. Because once he gets lined up, he knows what he's doing. He's a special football player.
Garrett, Glenn Thomas mentioned that he saw some of you in Jalen Graham's side as an older guy, a quarterback. Do you see some of yourself in him too, or what's it been like getting to know Jalen?
Oh, shoot, he's a way better football player than me. Jalen football is what we call him in the office right now. No, he's got a great, confidence about him, moxie. You can see him already kind of running the huddle. He's got leadership qualities, obviously being a quarterback for so long. He's been impressive in camp.
Can you tell he's a guy who wants to be a coach someday too?
Yes, absolutely. He was actually it's crazy. I had no idea that this was actually him, but he came to our coaches clinic, and he sat in every coach's meeting. And then after, he pulled a few of us aside and just asked, questions about how to get in the profession. What's the concept type questions. And then next thing you know, he's at our post grad camp, and I was like, wait, aren't you? So it's pretty cool.
Hey, you like offense. How do you feel like the offense has evolved year 2 from year 1?
I'm very fired up for where we're at right now. I really, really am. I think we're playing to our players' strengths, not asking them to do things that they aren't capable of. I think we're putting the right guys in the right positions, and we're going to put the best 11 out there on the field, and we're going to put the winners on the field.
Can that best 11 be pretty versatile? In other words, like there's going to be circumstances where you really have about 17 guys, but you can kind of move them into different parts.
I think that's what Coach Satt does at such a high level. You look back at South Carolina, a guy that I always like to bring up is Jaheim Bell, who just got drafted in the 7th round by New England. He was playing tight end. He played number 1. He played in the backfield. He was pass protecting on 3rd downs, and he was carrying it on 1st and 2nd downs. And he's really a tight end type body, but that's just Coach Satt being creative and getting guys the football.
Coach, you were in the locker room at Baylor when Coach Rule was there and that transformation happened between year 1 and year 2. What is it about him that allows for that at the stops he's made, and do you see a similar fabric here?
The work, and then just the toughness, right? Like Coach Rule is a really, really tough person, and that kind of aura gets spread throughout the whole facility. A couple guys have said it, but when you walk in here, it's 4th and 1 every day. And that type of mentality, I think, drives us. And the people that like that are the people that are kind of always been around those OOU type guys. You see the players rise to the top that, have that 4th and 1 type mindset. All righty, thank y'all. Y'all have a great day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.